5 years ago, I was Ethan Carter, a 32-year-old washed-up graphic designer in Chicago, barely scraping by with $2,800 in my bank account and a career that had just crashed and burned. I'd spent 6 years in the industry, but my refusal to churn out deceptive ads for a shady crypto startup got me blacklisted from every agency in the city. Integrity, it turns out, isn't a hot commodity in marketing. I was staring down a bleak future when a lawyer called with news that flipped my world upside down. My grandmother, Evelyn, had passed away and left me her 150-acre farm in Montana, a place I hadn't seen since I was a kid chasing fireflies across her fields. She was a tough-as-nails woman who could mend a fence before breakfast and whip up a peach cobbler by dusk. She'd always said, "Ethan, this land holds secrets bigger than you know. If trouble comes, check safe deposit box 392. I thought she was just being nostalgic. I couldn't have been more wrong. The drive from Chicago to Montana took 4 days, giving me plenty of time to dream about selling the farm and starting over, maybe in Boise, somewhere I could rebuild without the corporate baggage. When I pulled up to the weathered farmhouse, with its sagging porch and the old willow tree still holding my childhood rope swing, I felt a spark of hope I hadn't known in months. The chickens still strutted around like they owned the place, and the red barn stood exactly as I remembered. But that hope shattered when I checked the mailbox and found a stack of certified letters, each one a gut punch. The Willow Creek Homeowners Association had slapped me with $275,000 in fines, $150,000 for livestock sanitation violations, $75,000 for structural decay impacting community aesthetics, and $50,000 for environmental compliance failures. I stood there in the chilly Montana air, staring at papers that might as well have been written in code. Chickens clucking and pooping? That's not a crime. That's what chickens do. Environmental compliance? This was a farm, not a chemical plant. Before I could process the absurdity, a sleek black Audi rolled up, kicking up dust on the gravel drive. Out stepped a woman who looked like she'd wandered off a corporate boardroom set-tailored blazer, stilettos sinking into the dirt, and enough makeup to star in a beauty vlog. "You must be Ethan Carter," she said, offering a manicured hand while dodging a mud patch. "I'm Vanessa Pierce, president of the Willow Creek HOA. I'm here for the mandatory compliance inspection." I'd been on the property for less than an hour, and she was already acting like I was running an illegal dump. Things got weirder when she started her inspection. She snapped 52 photos of the same chicken coop, measured fence posts with a glittery tape measure rhinestones, I swear, and documented aesthetic violations like she was building a case for the Supreme Court. Then she stepped right into a fresh pile of cow manure, her $300 heels ruined, and kept lecturing me about proper agricultural waste protocols without missing a beat. I was dumbfounded, but the real red flag came when I caught her measuring beyond my fence, onto my neighbor Hank's land, which wasn't even in the HOA's jurisdiction. When I called her out, her polished demeanor cracked for a split second. "Community impact assessments require a broader scope," she said, avoiding my eyes. That's when I knew this wasn't about chickens or fences. That evening, as Vanessa's taillights faded, I overheard her on a phone call through her open car window. "Documentation's ahead of schedule. The farm's the perfect anchor for blight designation. Cascade Ventures can start acquisition once the council greenlights condemnation." My blood ran cold. This wasn't an HOA shakedown. It was a calculated plan to seize not just my farm, but every home in the neighborhood. Hank, my 74-year-old neighbor who'd known Evelyn for decades, confirmed my fears. "Your grandma fought land disputes her whole life," he said, settling into a creaky porch chair. "She always said the original land grant was bigger than the county claimed. She hid proof somewhere, but never told me where." The next morning, I teamed up with Rachel Morgan, a 37-year-old former city planner from Missoula who'd moved here to escape the corruption she'd seen in urban development. She'd watched Vanessa's 3-hour inspection and recognized it immediately. "That wasn't an HOA check, Ethan. That was a pre-development survey. I've seen this playbook before, fake violations to justify government seizures." Rachel showed me photos she'd taken of Vanessa photographing her property, Hank's, and 10 other homes. This was no petty power trip. It was a coordinated operation. We dug into Vanessa's world and found something chilling. Her garage was a war room, filing cabinets stuffed with photos, property assessments, and development potential ratings for every home within 5 miles. Red folders marked priority targets detailed 12 families, including mine, with an 18-month deterioration timeline that read like a battle plan. Rachel's FOIA requests revealed Vanessa wasn't just HOA president. She was a development compliance officer for the city, pulling $20,000 a month. Public records showed she'd attended 7 secret city council meetings about rural revitalization in our area. She wasn't enforcing rules. She was manufacturing excuses for eminent domain. The community was fracturing. About 40% of newer residents bought Vanessa's narrative that my farm was tanking their property values. Another 35% were torn, remembering Evelyn's kindness but scared of legal costs. The remaining 25%, mostly old-timers like Hank, were ready to fight but needed a plan. The personal toll hit hard. My friend Sarah, whose kids I'd taught to fish as a teen, cut me off. "I can't risk my home's value over your drama," she said. Those words stung worse than any fine. After weeks of digging, Rachel uncovered Vanessa's past. From 2018 to 2021, she'd worked for a Billings development firm, orchestrating land grabs that turned 6 neighborhoods into strip malls and condos, pocketing $280,000 in bonuses while families got 30% below market value. 7 weeks in, I opened Evelyn's safe deposit box with Hank by my side. Inside were documents that turned everything upside down. An 1871 homestead patent granting my great-great-grandfather, William Carter, 340 acres covering all of Willow Creek. Letters, photos of vanished survey markers, and legal records showed decades of county fraud shrinking our land. Hank's voice cracked as he recalled helping my grandfather survey in the 60s, only for granite markers to disappear in '88. Cutting our claim by 190 acres. Armed with this, I filed an FBI complaint for civil rights violations and fraud. The feds took 3 weeks to review but launched a full investigation when they saw the pattern, targeting elderly and rural communities for corporate gain. In week 9, Vanessa held a community safety meeting, a slick presentation with drone footage painting my farm as a hazard. I was ready. I stood up, projector in tow, and showed the 1871 patent. "This land, every house here belongs to my family," I said, overlaying original boundaries on a subdivision map. The room erupted, not in anger at Vanessa, but in panic over mortgages and titles. Vanessa scoffed. Historical claims don't override modern law. But as she spoke, FBI agents slipped into the room. They arrested her mid-sentence for conspiracy, mail fraud, and wire fraud, while raids hit her office, City Hall, and Cascade Ventures. She still protested, citing her 2,947 photos of blight as they cuffed her. I couldn't resist. "You're being arrested on my land, Vanessa." The aftermath was chaos. The judge confirmed my 340-acre claim, but urged a fair solution for 132 families facing title disputes. Emergency meetings were a circus. 40% of residents blamed me. 35% wanted to negotiate, and 25% backed me. Title insurers faced $55 million in claims. Banks froze loans. Taxes were paused. A $52 million settlement fund from the city, insurers, and developers offered relief. I proposed 3 options. 94 families took 99-year leases at $400 per month with democratic governance. 28 chose buyouts at full market value. 10 fought on in court. Vanessa got 13 years and $2.5 million in restitution. But one night, an unmarked envelope slid under my door, a photo of my farmhouse from an impossible angle, like someone was watching from nowhere. Running Willow Creek Heritage Community became my life. Monthly lease income of $37,600 sounded great, but $51,000 in repairs, water main breaks, roof fixes kept me scrambling. Tenant disputes over pets and parking tested my patience, but Hank's advice kept me grounded. Evelyn cared for people, not just land. Rachel's governance model opened budgets. Resident votes earned 95% satisfaction. By year 3, we had a 92% retention rate, a 53-family waitlist, and $450,000 in revenue, with $120,000 reinvested in playgrounds and gardens. Vanessa, out after 9 years, applied to rent. I denied her, citing her conviction. She's now a $15 per hour clerk in Billings, stuck in a $1,900 per month studio. Year 5 brought national recognition. Carter's Law strengthened homestead rights. Our model inspired 27 communities across 9 states. I earn $190,000 from management and advocacy, teaching at 14 universities. But a call from Idaho chilled me. An HOA president, Laura Bennett, Vanessa's old colleague, was running the same scam. We stopped her, saving 92 homes. On the flight back, a text from an unknown number read, "Nice work in Idaho. You're catching on. We need to talk. This is bigger than you know." Staring over my 340 acres, now home to 94 families, I wondered, if Vanessa and Laura were pawns, who's the kingpin? My community thrives 96% satisfaction, 0 Karens, but that text haunts me. What do you think? Was I right to expose the truth, even if it risked 132 families' homes? Should I chase this bigger conspiracy or protect what I've built? Who's behind that text, and what's their next move? Drop your thoughts below, hit like if you're hooked, and subscribe for what's coming next.